Morning folks, Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. What I thought I'd do today is I'd put up a part 4 segment in our overnighter series, our basic overnight camp series, because I had some questions about recovering your camp or taking your camp down, packing it up, and I had a few questions about some of the gear I wanted to answer in this video as well. So I thought what we'd do is, I've got the tarp back up exactly like it was. Everything else is still packed because at the end of our video the other day, we had everything basically folded up and ready to pack. I'll take that stuff out of my pack and fold it, and we'll place it in the pack and show you how I pack and carry my gear. And we'll take the tarp down so you can see how easy those lines come undone and we recover our cordage, and we'll go from there. Stay with me, guys. The thing I really like about this oilcloth is, even when it gets a little bit of moisture on the surface, of course it's waterproof, you can pretty much just shake it off. And if you've got to pack this thing out a little bit damp, then you're going to want to pull it out of your pack at the first opportunity and dry it out completely. You don't want to leave it wet because it might mildew, just like any other tent or tarp would do. Okay, so we've pretty much got our camp pulled out of our pack here again. A couple of extra items off to the side here that we didn't even use, but this is pretty much the stuff that we used for the camp, and it's been taken out of my pack other than our 32-ounce water bottle, which is in the front pocket right here of this pack. And this is the Duluth Bushcraft pack. You can order this straight from Duluth's website. Mine has a black garbage can inside of it. I use that so that, number one, I have another container. Number two, so that I have a nice internal frame situation for the pack. And number three, I have another container. So anyway, what we're going to do here is, the way I pack this is, I generally will put my heaviest items at the bottom of the pack. that doesn't necessarily lend itself well to taking the first things out of the pack that you're going to need first sometimes, but it's better to have the heavier things at the bottom of the pack and not at the top pulling on your shoulders. We've got our tarp right here, and this is probably the heaviest item next to the wool blanket, and it probably weighs, somebody asked me about that, it probably weighs, I'm going to guess, 4 pounds, maybe 5. It weighs less than a gallon of milk, but it's a heavy tarp. But again, you know, it's a heavy tarp. It's not going to tear up on you. This is an oilcloth 8x8 trail tarp by tentsmiths.com. You can get this on their website. So I put that in the very bottom of my pack. I've got it folded just to the right size to fit the bottom of that trash can. I've got 3 metal stakes. Yes, I said 3 metal forged out of rebar stakes. I don't want to make stakes. I don't want to mess around with stakes. I don't want to have to bang on stakes with my axe if I don't absolutely have to. If I'm trying to set up something that's going to be permanent or semi-permanent or longer term, I'm going to use heavy duty material. I generally carry that stuff in this pack. I do have ultralight type scout kits as well. We'll talk about those in other videos. But for this one, I'm carrying actually forged metal stakes that are made of rebar. I carry 3 of them for my system. And they fit also in the bottom of this pack. There's 2 hanks of rope here that we use with our tarp system. One's about 30 foot, one's about 20 foot, paracord. They go in the bottom as well, right there, beside that. I have a piece of rope here. We talked about that earlier. This is hemp. It's about 20-25 foot of rope. I just coil it up really loosely and I put it in the bottom, taking up that space between my tarp and the back of the bucket. So our complete shelter system for the most part sits down in the bottom of this bucket. Now, the next thing to go in there is going to be our biggest wool blanket, because the first thing we might want to grab out of here is going to be our shroud if it gets chilly or something like that. So I take that bigger wool blanket and I roll it up into a roll as best I can get it, and I just shove it down inside that garbage can just like this. And again, that's part of the advantage to that garbage can, is it gives you that container that you can stuff stuff down into real easy like this. And that just about fills up the garbage can, but you've got lots of room above that. Then I'll throw my browse bag on top of that, just like this, to kind of separate things in my pack, separate my shelter from things that I might need right away. I have this piece of material right here that we used to collect the firewood on, and what this is it is a sniper's veil, is what it's supposed to be. Sold by Condor. You can buy them on Amazon. One of my instructors had one of these one day, and I got to look at it and I thought, man, that's a pretty multi-functional piece of gear. It's very, very big. It's right at 3 foot by 3 foot. It is cotton material, so it could be charred. It is absorbent, so it could be used for first aid. It's also a net about the right size for a minnow seine, so I can make a dip net or a seine net out of this. Obviously I can use it for carrying cargo. I can fold it in a triangle, and I can put it around my waist and use it for a waist pack if I need to carry things back and forth to camp or anything like that I wanted to carry on a quick short scout. And then again, it has this camouflage capability for hunting and things like that. So for what it weighs and the room it takes up, it's a pretty good little item to carry. That's not going to take up much room in your pack, and it's not that expensive. Okay, once I've got that taken care of, now I'm going to start putting in my final items on the top of the pack, and one of them is my shroud. And I kind of tuck it off to one side just like this, and I let it bulge up just a little bit, and I push it over as far as I can get it, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my bush pot right beside that, just like that. And beside that bush pot goes my buffalo bag that's just got extra fire starting kit materials in it and things like that. It's got my oil bottle in it. It's got some fat wood in it. It just has redundancies basically for making fire for the most part. And that tucks down on top just like that. That only leaves me really with my gloves and this veil on top of my mat, which is going to go on top of everything. So you can see I've still got plenty of room in the top of this pack. So I'll go ahead and drop this veil on top, drop these gloves on top, and then I will take and cinch this pack down around those items, just like that. Now this pack has a zipper pocket in the front right here, and sometimes I'll just take my gloves and stick them in there, but I generally keep items I need to get to right away in there, like a spare knife, my compass, my headlamp, and things like that. Generally stay in that pocket in a notebook. But I put my gloves in there sometimes as well. So once I've got this thing cinched down tight, I'll close these buckle loops on the side and tighten them down. Just like that. I've got this that came out of my water bottle that has items in it that are stored in the water bottle when it's empty. There is my spork, my water bottle hanger, a little bit of extra cordage, and a T-bone. And this bone, I use this bone a lot with my tarp. If I can find a fork in a tree to set my shelter up, I just shove this bone through one of my tie-out points, pull it through the fork of the tree, and that becomes the corner of my tarp for a plow point setup. More robust than a stick. Doesn't take up a lot of room, it doesn't weigh much, so I just keep it in this roll of cotton material, which is also kind of got some waxy feel to it because I use it for cleaning my weapon, cleaning my knives, things like that. Use it for patching material. Could also be used for first aid in a real emergency. But if it's not in my water bottle, I just put it in this top pocket, just like this. If the water bottle's empty, it goes in the water bottle. Okay, so on the front side of this pack, we've got two pockets and we got a sleeve. One of the pockets contains our 32-ounce water bottle, our nesting cup, and the grill are slid down inside that pocket, just like that. The other pocket on the outside of this pack has got our candle lantern, a Baco Laplander saw, a roll of bank line 36, and the metal tin that I keep my sharpening implements in. All of that stuff goes in this pocket, and a lot of times I'll put my headlight on top of all of this stuff, right at the top of this pocket. All the things I need to get to fairly quickly, or anything I would need to get to fairly quickly, I keep on the outside. Shelter materials pretty much go in the bucket. Then I put my roll right on top of it, and I pull this flap over the top, just like this. Crank that dude down. One thing I like about Duluth packs, besides being guaranteed for life and being made in the USA, is that they are all leather and canvas material, and you're not going to hurt them any. Tighten that down one more notch, just because we can, on both sides, just to keep it nice and secure in there. Just like that. And then our axe sits in this sleeve on the front, right here. Okay? And that gives us our pack out. Now, how much does this thing weigh? This entire pack, as you see it, probably weighs about 40 pounds if I had to guess. Other than food, this pack has everything that I would need even for a longer term stay, other than ammunition, traps, and things of that nature. And in that case, I would want some type of conveyance, like my horse, like a sled, like an ATV, something like that. If you're going to start packing traps and heavy things like lots of ammunition, maybe a spare firearm, things like that, you're going to want a bigger situation than this. But for yourself, being out in the wilderness, being able to carry a little bit of ammunition, you know, maybe some snare cable, things like that inside this thing in the front, this pretty much will do you for a longer term pack situation. That's why I carry it. Now when you buy this pack from Duluth Pack, it does have, you'll see there's a sleeve down here at the bottom. And that's because there's a waist belt, a padded waist belt that comes with this pack. I don't have it in here now. If I were really going to load this pack down beyond 50 pounds, I would put that waist belt on there, but I just keep it at the house and if I decide to load this pack up, I'll use it. Otherwise, I don't use the waist strap because I think it gets in the way. It's also got a chest strap on it here. It's got fully padded leather and heavy-duty webbing straps on it. And like I said, these things are guaranteed for life. You're not going to wear the thing out. This one's been used and abused for sure. Okay, folks, well, I'm Dave Canterbury at the Pathfinder School. I appreciate you joining me for this quick video on loading this pack back up from a camp. I'll get this video posted up as soon as I can. I'll put it in that overnight series as part 4, and it'll be part of the basic bushcraft playlist. I thank you for everything you do for me, for my school, all my Pathfinder affiliates. I appreciate your views and your support. I'll be back with another video as soon as I can. Thanks, folks.